Remember when dirt was dirt? Neither do we. But the associated B6.3D is trying to remember the dirt. I'm going to be real with you. If you've never had an RC car, this probably shouldn't be your first one. Why? Because it's not a basher. It is a pure, unadulterated race car, made for the dirt and/or /carpet, or stuff that looks like dirt that we call cement. But either way, you don't really want to bash with it, because unlike the original, this one has evolved into a purebred race car. And while, yes, you can take it out and beat the snot out of it, I don't recommend it, because it's made for the track. And let's take a look at the chassis, because I already went in depth on a build. We're just going to look at the chassis. The original RC10 was a gold tub. This isn't gold, but it's kind of bronzish, and not a tub, except for the plastic edges. Like Call of Duty Warzone, this update, 0.3D, gives you all the latest updates for improvement and refinement. It's not radically different than the 2, but it does have changes to make it better and more durable. The list is pretty extensive. I'm not going to go over them all because it's a lot of me talking. I don't know if you're really here for that, but you can go on the website and check everything out that's updated from the last version. Is it worth it to upgrade? Of course it is. It's a new car. Why do we want to run an old one? Nobody wants to have the old stuff. So if you're looking to upgrade, of course you should get the upgrade. It's time to move on. The 2 isn't as good. The 3 is better. Tenths are tenths, man. Win races with tenths. I think it's fair to mention that the RC10 series is the most winning two-wheel drive buggy ever on Earth, and probably ever will be. So looking at it is pretty amazing because it's super clean looking. You get options and transmissions that give you 2. Instructions are on telling you when to use them. The adjustability on this car is simply mind-boggling, as Anchorman or Will Ferrell would say, not boggling, but bottling. So if you're not into making changes on everything, I don't know if you're into two-wheel drive buggy, but you can change everything. You have more adjustments than a Formula One car, period, I think. Don't quote me on that. Once you see a black frog with a blue pacifier, you'll never look at the rear hub the same again. But anyway, this frog has a lot of adjustability, more than the average human can comprehend or the racer wants to ever touch, at least in my opinion. But if you want to be crazy, you can adjust about 9,000 million billion different angles on almost this entire car. You have shims everywhere, pins everywhere, just adjustability out the black frog's face with a pacifier. But that means you can dial this car in anywhere, but it also means you can dial that thing way out like an old rotary phone. It's not going to work that well anymore. I don't even think you know how to use a rotary phone, never mind push button or a black frog. But you can do it. And that means if it's got something that you want to play with, it's on this car. And then extra things, because there's mounts you can change and change the angles. It's just crazy. It's crazy, I tell you. Not the frog, the car. Up front continues the race theme. You have a 5mm offset on the hub. The steering blocks have carbon fiber ears, so eventually you can either change those, or if you break something, you're not changing the whole mount. It saves time, money, but also allows different adjustability if something changes where you want to change the angle of the steering link rod. Steering has been adjusted or updated to be less sloppy. Less sloppy is good unless you like sloppy joes. Overall, the car's just been updated to be more racy, more tight. The transmission, you get 2 options, lay down or laid back. I'm laid back because we're in the dirt. You wanted less traction or you wanted it higher up to get more roll in the car, to get more traction. Traction is gained many ways, but here you can also see the adjustment is on the other side, not near the slipper, and you can see the new revised pin system that allows you, the width is changed, changes the dive and all that stuff, but you can change every angle of those pins to go nuts if you want to. Here's a good look at the slipper pad. It has a new octagonal design. Why, I don't know. Maybe it's just more fun to say. It's supposed to be more consistent and smoother. The motor plate is very low. The strange thing to me about this motor plate is they give you a gear cover which doesn't fit on the car or can be screwed to the car. I don't get it, but you can duct tape it or double-sided tape it on the little tongue at the top if you feel you need to run a gear cover. I did not in loose, sandy conditions. I didn't see any rocks in my gears after, but it's a price you have to pay here for looking pretty and not running a gear cover. All right, enough technical talk. Let's talk about the performance. And let's talk about my performance in the beginning to clarify this for everybody on the internet. I have not run two-wheel drive buggy in, I don't know, forever. Most two-wheel drive buggies are not designed to run on loose, sandy conditions, nor are the tires available for you to run on them properly. So Joe's backyard track, the farm, in Yucaipa, is a difficult track for two-wheel drive, but that doesn't mean there wasn't traction to be found, nor can this car be dialed into it, because there are enough setup changes on here that I could probably make it not turn or do things differently than the box stock setup that I chose, which was not perfectly ideal. And some of you smart guys can see this in some of the video. But I'll go over my overall experience of what it means to run back end stuff that looks more like dirt and not on high traction. Because as we watered this, traction came up, the car was much easier to drive. But it also dried out very quick in the 102-degree, no humidity weather of Southern California in the summer. So my initial thought impression was, I miss driving two-wheel drive because it's very difficult. It teaches you how to drive. You have to have great throttle control, which, if you listen to this, I still have a gas fingers for some reason, and it was very difficult for me to get rid of it. So that jing, 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 like, that's a nitro finger, and the smoothness of electric was coming back to me the more packs I ran through the car. My initial impression is this car pushed a little bit more than I thought it would, as being associated, usually drives on the front end, but a lot of the weight was towards the rear. The battery placement I put, just because I figured I was going to have low traction, I pushed it back. Was maybe too far back, which is something I'm going to change and do a little update in the future. But I wanted to drive it as much as I could stock because I'm not one to chase setups. I want to learn how to drive a car. It's the old school way. I did find that it was a little bit like driving what I assume an older 911 with the engine in the back, most of the mass, that it's awesome up till 9/10, and then a giant pendulum effect as the weight shifted back and forth. Which again, this setup changes we can do, made it kind of wiggle a little bit under power and step out, which is not confidence inspiring when you are trying to find traction and drive a car you haven't driven in forever and learn how to not go a gas finger. But it's something that obviously you can do, and learning the track was, 3 stages here. It's not a track I drive on every day, so had to figure out points of where I'm going, how to take things, and the speed to get it. And flip over easy. But a quick summary. You are a two-wheel drive racer or a future racer. Should you buy this? Add it to your cart right now. Get it. You have an older buggy. Add it to your cart right now. You're a basher. Put it in your cart. Think about it. Start racing. Then buy it now. Team Associate B6.3D. You need one. I need one. I have one now. I'm going to run it more. If you're going to run it in the dirt like me, we're going to learn together how to get this thing back to dialed in and running in the dirt where it should be, or clay. But it's a challenge, and challenge accepted. Barney Stinson out. If you're here this long, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell. Check out our website. I know that it's not updated that often, but it's a magazine. That's what we do. We make a magazine. Subscription's $10 a year. You get every back issue when you subscribe. It's a F-ton of magazines to read. This review will be in, I think, 43. Don't quote me on that because I'm not looking at it, but issue 43. A lot of text and fun stuff in there, and pictures and other videos. Do it now. A couple clips at the end of this, and thanks for watching. Next review coming up in soon. And YouTube time, I guess that doesn't matter.